everyone, this is Tara from Anew Counseling Services. This week's topic is on positive thinking. So when I say positive thinking, what do I mean by that? Let me start to explain by giving you a little bit of my background and my theoretical orientation. So I practice CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, and basically the premise of this orientation is the way that we look at things, the way that we perceive things, will determine our reaction and our behavior about that situation. So, the most cliche example I can give you is the glass half full or half empty? If you're thirsty and you're looking at a glass of water that is halfway full, and you look at it like, wow, it's halfway full, you are happy and grateful and excited because you are so thirsty and half of the glass is filled with water. However, if you look at this glass like it's half empty and you're thirsty, you're going to look at it like, oh my God, it's half empty. I'm so thirsty. I'm so annoyed right now. What am I going to do? Do you get what I'm saying? So that cliche example applied to life is really accurate because we can look at the bad in situations, or we can look at the positives in situations. So let's be honest here. If we're looking at a situation and we deem it to be bad, we are not happy about it. Are you in a good mood or are you in a bad mood? Exactly. You're in a bad mood. So if you're able to look at something positively versus negatively, you're in a better mood. I know what you're thinking. Well, what about when something really bad happens? How can I look at it positively? And you're right. It's hard to look at it positively. And when it is something that bad, it's a dark time. It like, for example, death. How can we sit there and say, wow, it is great that my mom passed away. It's wonderful, isn't it? No, of course you're not going to be able to say that. But you can try to focus on the good things just about that person or that relationship. You know, I was talking to a coworker today, actually about death. She lost her husband a few years back, and I lost my mom about a year ago. And I said to her, I said, you know what I find so sad? People that lose someone and they're not really that upset because whatever the situation was, it wasn't a good one. And I'm so grateful that I do feel sadness that my mom is gone, because that tells me that I have some really great memories with her and I learned a lot of things, and those are positive things. You know, when my mom passed away last year, it definitely was not a good time. There was a few different situations going on all at once, of course, right? Because when it rains, it pours. That quote like really is true, and I am definitely living proof. I feel like when one thing goes wrong, a million things go wrong all at the same time. So after my mom had passed away, it definitely was not joyful, and I did struggle. And my mother was very artistic, and you know, growing up she painted and she did a lot of different crafts, and I'm really not good at most of them. I cannot draw for the life of me. I cannot paint, but we would make floral arrangements together. And after she had passed away, I went to Michael's. That was one of her favorite stores, and I would always go with her. And I wanted to buy some flowers because I wanted to make like a teardrop swag for the house. And I did. And I felt great doing it. And I was like, how can I continue to make more? So I started a very small hobby-based business selling wreaths. All of that stemmed from my mom's death. That to me is a positive. My grandfather growing up always said to me, if something bad happened, you know what, Tara, it could always be worse. There is always someone out there that is worse than you. And not that it makes me happy that someone else is in a worse situation than me by any means, but instead it makes me grateful that maybe my situation isn't that bad. Another example of it is, oftentimes all of us are, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. What I've been harping on throughout this whole time with COVID, especially during the summer, is I want a pool, right? Because I couldn't go on vacation. There was nowhere to go. And I'm like, I want a pool, I can't afford it, but I want it, I want it, I want it, this isn't fair. What type of mood do you think I was in? Not a good one. But then I thought to myself, all right, I don't have a pool. And yeah, that kind of stinks because, who doesn't want a pool, right? But I have a house and I have my dog and I have my cats and I had some really great friends that were around me throughout COVID, and that makes me happy. So instead of me focusing on things that I want that I don't have, I focused on things that I have that I'm very grateful for. Get it? The negative thinking, I wasn't in a great mood. The positive thinking, I was in a pretty good mood. So again, it's all about your perception of the situation. And even in the darkest times, even in a really bad situation, you gotta try to find the positives, because finding the positives helps you to cope. Outside of the really bad situations, if it's just kind of a smaller situation, like, do you have a lot of water or only a little bit of water? Trying to look at it on the brighter side of things will keep you in a better mood. Another example, full-time, as I've stated in some of my other videos, I work as a school counselor. And when COVID first hit last year, we all were virtual and it was not fun. There was all of these technical issues in the sense of my students, and they couldn't get on the computer. And, my principal's like, well, you have to call home. You have to call home. You have to call home. I think I spoke to more parents in a month's time during the beginning of COVID than I did probably in a full year of a school year being a school counselor. And, graduation was different. And, it at times was very frustrating. But I kept looking at the situation like, you know what? I have a job. A lot of my friends got laid off and I didn't. And I am so thankful and grateful that I still was able to have a job and continue to get an income and not have to worry about, how am I going to buy food? How am I going to pay for my mortgage? How am I going to pay for my car payment? Real bills, not worried about what purse I'm going to buy. Real serious bills that I know a lot of people struggled with. And again, that is another example of positive thinking. So instead of looking at the situation like, oh my God, this sucks, I have to call someone else again, this glitched out, I don't know how to sign a PDF virtually, how am I going to do this, what are we going to do? I was like, you know what, I have a job, this is good, I'm going to make this work, I'm going to create maybe new things virtually, which I did to help my kids and to help my district, and it worked out well. Again, positive thinking. The positive thinking keeps me happier. The negative thinking makes me sadder. So I want you guys to think about this the next time you're posed with a situation, a small situation, but one that you're not thrilled with. Think about how you're looking at it, and then pay attention to your behavior and your reaction if you are looking at it in a positive way or if you are looking at it in a negative way. And I can guarantee you, if you test out my theory on looking at things more positively, that you will be happy. I can almost promise you, I can't fully promise you, because there's no guarantees in life, but it will help you. Because the more positive you are and the more positive outlook you have, the happier of a person you will be. And a happier person is a less stressed person. And that's a whole nother video I could get into about how stress is so negative for us. Positive thinking, happier person. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, please share it, like it, comment on it. Any questions or any suggestions, please write in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys watch again soon.